Hey everybody, am I coming in alright?
Yep.
Yes.
Alright, that's good, because the way how this whole shebang is set up is that it's all coming from my laptop, so I don't have Lala set up. Like, she's got like three different monitors or something, so
Yeah.
this is gonna be a bit of a juggling act for me.
Okay.
And
It's gonna be crazy. Because
I'll
we
be
haven't done this in a while. Oh boy.
Oh, yeah, definitely haven't done this in a while. I'm still trying to remember how to do the voice.
I don't even think he put on a voice for Talus.
I put on like a, I put on like a bit of one. Like I kind of made my voice a little bit deeper.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you put a bit more bass in it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to trying to get myself back into character here.
I mean, I I personally just kind of go with whatever feels right. Like I've kind of decided to go for like maybe a bit of a softer voice for Rallis. I don't know, it just feels kind of right.
I'm trying to do my best to juggle several voices at once.
I mean, hey, like not everyone's a Matt Mercer. Like don't
I'm not
don't
that person.
don't feel bad about it.
Definitely not having an entire trial. Yeah, like Talus and the Sea Elf Wizard from that one shot, the opera, were pretty much the only characters I've ever done where I've actually bothered to do a voice.
Yeah.
Well, that and stabs, but that one completely wrecks your voice.
I
Oh,
know.
yeah. I definitely needed a cold drink of water after that one.
I've always got one on standby me personally, but yeah. I mean, I'll give you points for your dedication on that one, Nate. But goddamn,
A lot of the D&D streams I watch, I just like, I just like, yeah, they kind of do that with their goblin voices, so I felt obliged to do that as well.
yeah, it's just basically go high pitch, go gravelly, and then just act like an absolute asshole.
No, no. You guys. Hey, stop setting things on fire. You don't do that.
You just gotta love that everyone just it's kind of almost like a universal rule at this point that if you're playing like a group of goblins, it's just mandatory you all act like idiots and assholes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, really, my angle for it was like I was trying to be the smart one amongst the idiots and assholes.
You tried.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
I mean,
like
I mean, the plan was pretty much entirely mine. So,
for yeah, pretty much. I mean, like I was kind of useless there. I was just there as muscle for the most part.
I was
yeah,
the distraction.
I just, I just love that.
The
Like,
best part.
I just love that you like decide to stay behind and like to just drunkenly dodge everything, and it's like, no, there's more people coming in. There's more people coming in.
I was like, oh, this is a
yeah,
bad
like,
idea.
yeah, like, and that's when we found out just how many kobolds the Syndicate actually has in their employ.
well, I mean,
Tons, apparently.
considering they drop like flies, it's not really that surprising.
These ones didn't, though. That's what scared me.
Well, yeah, that and what I
I
yeah.
I scattered them a long time ago. Okay, yeah. Every member of the Syndicate can do at least some magic.
Yeah, okay. We're getting up to time now.
Nearly there.
Yeah, we're at 7 right now.
701.
All right, just give me a minute. I'll. All right,
702. It's been a minute.
all right. Uh, all right, everyone ready?
Yep.
Never.
Alrighty then. Okay, five, four, three, two,
Just kidding.
one.
Yeah.
All right, we're gone. We're good.
Alright, we're live?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Welcome back to Humblewood Adventures. It's been a while, but we're finally back after
Hello.
the holidays. Previously, our heroes decided to go into the Sparks Grove and kill a snake, only to find something even bigger.
And also more snakes.
Yes, and also more snakes. So today we're going to try and find a way to solve this giant elemental problem. So we're going to the wizards for help. Henrietta isn't here right now because she's silent at the moment, but she has some stuff baking in the oven, so she'll be a little quiet for now. Anyways, what do you guys want to do right now? Before you leave.
Well, Rook is going to need to figure out his Find Familiar spell.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess I'm gonna go buy the materials and just kind of quickly go do that.
Rellis
Yeah, you can just go do that.
Rellis himself isn't he's not actually there at the tavern. He's actually kind of he kind of early riser, and he kind of decided to watch the sunrise hanging off of one of the long branches of Alderheart.
Alright. You see the sunrise over the eastern horizon, over the Crest Mountains.
Yeah, and he's just kind of... He's taken off the helmet that he was given, and he's sort of just staring at it for a good while.
Still has that Gallus feather on it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it has the feather Tevor gave him.
Yeah.
And after a bit, he sighs and stands up and decides to get back to everyone.
Alright. I assume you managed to return to the tavern.
I imagine so, yeah. Because,
Yeah.
there are a few things we need, specifically him and Henrietta need to pick up, but, wait for her to get here for that to happen.
Yeah. Henrietta's armor isn't ready yet because armor takes a lot of time to make. It'll be done by the time you get back from the avium.
Fair enough. So, but yeah, how about the ring? How about the little viper tooth that we gave to Susan?
Yeah, that should be ready.
All right. Well, I suppose he'll just wait to greet everyone in the morning, and then he'll get down to business.
Okay. Rook isn't here at the tavern right now.
Yeah,
he's in the market buying things. And he does eventually get all the things he needs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, time to cast this one.
And just go straight to him, I guess, summoning the familiar.
Yep, I would like to keep it hidden for now.
Okay.
Okay, how much gold did that cost me?
It should say on the spell.
Gold.
Yeah, 10 gold.
Oh. This one was 15. Yeah, whatever.
It's either 10 or 15. It's Find Familiar is a relatively cheap spell.
Oh, yeah, 10.
Yes, currently Henrietta is at the temple helping out, trying to make sure that people are not panicking from the giant forest fire inevitably coming from the Scorched Grove.
Yeah, and the what is in essence the Balrog just rising out from the ashes.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the potion that Susan was making for you should be ready by now.
Well, again, Rallis will return to the inn, and I imagine Talus is just sitting down, drinking or eating or something like that.
He's actually making a couple of magic scrolls. Remind me what it takes to make magic scrolls again, because I genuinely do not remember.
I do not know.
Let's see here. I believe it takes a good few hundred gold, and a few, depending on the level of spells. Like, if it's a 3rd level spell, I think it takes a week and like 1,000 gold or some such, I believe.
That
Spell scrolls. I think that's in Xanathar's guide.
Yeah, it is.
I'll have to look it up later, I'm sorry.
Okay, how long? Okay, yeah, how long? Yeah.
Oh, yep, here it is. If it's a first level spell, it takes 25 gold and 1 day to create. Second level to... you know what, I'll just screen cap it and send it to you.
Okay.
But yeah, if it's a first level spell, it's only 25 gold and it takes you a day to make.
The one I had in mind was a second level spell.
Alright, then that's 250 gold and it will take you 3 days.
Yeah, you don't have the time.
Ah.
Sorry.
Damn it, I was going to abuse the crap out of that. Oh well.
But you will find time to actually use spells eventually when you
Well,
reach the college.
And no, I was going to abuse. I was going to abuse scroll. I was going to abuse scrolls actually. Yeah, like if I have the time and resources to do it, then I'll explain later.
All right then.
Yeah. For now.
In the meantime, you guys should be discussing what you plan on doing to reach the avian.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, as it stands, Rallis comes back after his little sightseeing, and Talos. I know Talos is working on the scroll thing. Is he just sitting at the table, or is he at his room?
Actually, well, delay that. If I'm not if I can't make scrolls that quickly, that's annoying. Then in that case, I'm going to be dropping by Eliza's one last time to see if she's got anything new.
Eliza, okay. So, we go back to Eliza's Emporium if I can find it. Here we go. Nobody else is here at the moment. Alright.
Hello, Eliza.
Oh, hello! Good to see you again. I heard the news.
Yes, yes. Have you had any very recent deliveries that I might take advantage of?
Let me check real quick. She starts shuffling through everything.
Any spell scrolls beyond the color spray one that no one will buy?
I'm afraid I don't have any more spell scrolls in stock. Sorry.
And anything you do have?
Oh, I do have. Let me see. She eventually pulls out. Let me find it here. Where is it? Should be here somewhere. I do have these feather tokens.
Out of character, remind me what those do again.
They have a whole bunch of different effects.
All of them are chaotic.
What do these ones do?
Okay, she has a bird feather token, which allows you to summon a giant bird. There's one that, and there's a tree feather token that summons when thrown. It creates a oak tree to spring out of into existence.
Hold on to that one.
They're one-time use only, though.
Yeah, so... yeah, are those the only two she's got?
Yeah, those are the only two she has.
much for the tree one?
Let's see. The tree feather token is 500 gold piece.
I can afford that, but it's not an amount I'd be willing to just throw around just yet. Hold on to it, please.
Alright, well, you still do have a 10% discount.
And yes, but it's still a lot. You understand?
Yeah, that's fine. It would be at 450 gold pieces anyway.
Of course. Well, see you when we get back, I guess.
Alrighty. See you again.
And then I head up to the tavern.
Okay, head back to the tavern. Let me just pull this up real quick. Back to the tavern. Oh, come on. There we go.
But yeah, as you come back, Rallis is just kind of sitting there, gazing off to wherever it is he's looking at, probably outside the windows. He seems preoccupied.
Talus is just going to walk up next to him and like look at it, and then like trying to like look at whatever Rallis seems to be looking at.
Yeah, he's looking straight out the window, where pretty much everyone saw the huge fire monstrosity just come out of the ash grove.
Yep. It's still smoldering over there. And people are still very concerned.
You know, if you look really hard, you can kind of pick out the path we ran away along.
Rallis seems to snap back to reality, shakes his head a little, and he says, I believe you're right. He turns his head to Talus to give him his full attention. Good morning, Talus.
He just swivels his head around like an owl.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a bit unnerving. He clears his throat and he says,
Morning.
Good.
That's going to take some getting used to.
It was Talus, was it? I apologize. I am still getting used to everyone's names.
Of course.
Awkward silence.
Yeah.
I apologize. I am not much for conversation.
And oh, don't worry, it'll get. Oh, don't worry, it'll get. I'm sure it'll get a lot livelier once Rook gets here, and then we'll wish for the awkward silence again.
That does bring up the question. Do you know where your little companion has gone off to?
Said something about an important purchase. I find it not best not to ask.
Ah, that sort of unsavory individual, is he?
Well, yes and no.
Eventually Rick shows up at the tavern.
Yeah, I show up. I kind of like walk into the door, kind of acting like nothing's really happened. No, it doesn't really look like I have anything on my person. That's, should not be there.
Hello, Rook. Did you find what you were looking for?
Oh yes, totally. I have it here.
Okay. You see a head poking out from his sleeve.
Rallis.
It's a snake.
Found a small. Okay, what thing is it ahead of?
It's a snake.
And Rook, what have I told you about abducting small children?
That's wrong.
Rook sighs. That is wrong. But yeah,
You now have a flying snake familiar.
Yeah. I kind of like telepathically tell it to sort of like coil over my shoulders, kind of like a fake scarf.
You now have a boa on your... A feather boa. A literal feather boa on your neck.
So that is what
Pay
you...
no attention to it.
So that is what you were taking care of.
Yes, it's I'd say it's gonna be really helpful.
I will
There you go.
I will choose to take you at your word for that. Oh, there it is. There's a little token for it.
Yeah, there's the token for it.
Really small.
It's tiny.
So, pardon my rudeness. Good morning, Rook. I hope you had a pleasant enough rest.
Sleep? What's sleep? I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay then.
I kind of turn towards the barkeep and it's like, hey, can I have another pot of coffee?
Yeah, sure thing. And he starts getting ready for getting the coffee ready.
Very well then. Moving on. So
I'm gonna have while the guys kind of back there. I was gonna tell my familiars just kind of go around the counter, look for coins.
Okay. You can technically see through your familiar's eyes.
Yeah, where's the coin box?
You really don't really see any lock boxes behind the counter.
Just immediately, first thing in the morning, where's the till? Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, there's just closed cupboards, and the snake tries its best to try and open them, but they're kid-proof.
Okay, knowing that this is probably not going to be very helpful, I'm just going to have him kind of sneakily kind of coil around.
Coffee, sir.
Alright, thank you.
Moving along, it seems we will be approaching the wizards to see what exactly we can find out about that creature. Now, the
I
question.
imagine Talus, being a wizard himself, would know a little bit about it.
I mean,
It's full of crazy people.
yeah,
It's kind of expected from a wizard in college.
yes. Just if you see any while we're there, if you see any weird lights, try to stand at least 30 or 40 feet away.
Any reason for that?
I see.
Mm.
Relish is just rolling with this. He really doesn't want to make a fuss of any of this.
Okay.
Okay, is there like a candle lit in front of me?
It's just a lamp.
Is there any sort of open flame inside the lamp?
It's a candle lamp, yeah.
Okay. It's like, would the lights look like this as I cast Control Flame? I just kind of have the fire at the tip of my finger.
I imagine everyone would be just looking at it. It's like, when did you learn how to use magic?
Yeah. Rallis raises an eyebrow and he says, and then he looks at Talus, did you teach him that?
Silence.
Hello?
What?
Kind of got eerily quiet for a minute.
It got real quiet for a minute, yeah.
Yep.
Edward?
He's...
Okay, let's just keep rolling.
Alrighty.
But, yeah.
Like, this little trick. No, let's just say I kind of observed a few things here and there, and you kind of pick up some things from some magical people.
I could have sworn I kept my spellbook locked.
Never said it was your spellbook.
I was half expecting. It's funny that you think that'll stop me. But
Yeah, and with the other hand, I kind of also cast shape water on my coffee. It just kind of like have like little thin stream of it kind of go into my mouth in little sips.
Gross.
Oh, yeah. So many of my fellow students like to use that one for college pranks.
Yeah,
Oh.
why does that not surprise me?
it's like a ball of scalding hot coffee, and I'm just sipping on it.
Oh, that's nothing. You ever been hit by a snowball in the middle of summer?
No, I don't care to find out. And you know, without the mug, this coffee gets really cold, and I kind of take the finger with the fire on it, just kind of put it underneath to heat it up.
starts
Now it's scalding.
starts boiling.
That's it. I get that you want to show off, Brooke, but this is a very inefficient way to drink coffee.
Plus, well, Rook, I do not wish to be a buzzkill, as they say, but we are in an establishment that is, and Rallis looks around, primarily made of wood.
Wood is surprisingly sturdy, though.
I mean, it's not like this flame is like a bonfire, is it? I mean, I could do that, but...
I mean, it's on the tip of your fingers. I imagine it's kind of like a cigarette light. Well, no, a lighter flame.
Yeah, like
Kind of like a little matchstick light, yeah.
Yeah, it's
you're going for control flames, right?
Yes.
Yeah, then you'd be able to like snag like the light off one. You'd be able to like snag the flame and aim off a nearby candle or something.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Nothing big enough to be used as a weapon.
so yeah, like that
Cantrip.
little trick of like the magic guy flicking his thumb and fire coming on it. You can literally do that.
yeah.
I can light a small fire, which can turn into a bigger fire.
I mean, you
Yes,
can't
but please. Yes, you can, but please don't.
Oh, well, just, it's just a little thing in the repertoire.
Regardless, back on track. The
Put the
question
fire back in
The question now is, on our way to this wizarding college or what have you, we need to discern what route it is we are going to take. Will we be cutting through the forest, or will we be taking the roads? Even though I know...
Roads.
Very well. Fair enough. Even though I
If
do...
we can get,
Go ahead.
If we can get a cart, I'll be able to make it significantly faster.
Very well then.
Mm,
And Rook?
My vote is for the road.
Hmm.
yes, everyone's taking the road.
I imagine Henrietta perhaps might have a similar take, but, well...
Yeah, she also said road.
Basically, yeah. If we can get like a passenger or wagon of some kind, I have something that'll make the trip go quite a bit faster.
I suppose if the council would deem it necessary, we could ask for a cart.
I mean, I don't know about the council. We could just, rent one or something.
Okay, so I guess a question for the DM: what's a cart? What's a cart rental running?
Cart rentals.
Yeah, like carry passengers.
Carry passengers?
Yeah.
I'd say about 50 gold for a rental.
Okay, seems reasonable.
Yeah.
And I've got more than enough for that, so that should do it. Rallis does nod at that and he says, "You raise a fair point."
As you are talking, Alice, you get a message in your head. You recognize the voice as... what was his name again? Rados Lonewood. He says, "I need to see you in my office." It's urgent.
Yeah, wait. Out of character.
It's the Tiger Man.
Oh, okay. Very well. If you would both excuse me, I just have sudden appointments.
Very well.
Alright, I'm just gonna leave him out here because I never drew his office, but anyways.
Very well then. Do hurry back.
Okay.
I have no idea whatsoever how long this will take.
It won't take long. And eventually you meet with Rados back in his shop, his curio store.
Okay, if this is about a job, doing it's going to be like, well, doing the old profession is quite a bit more difficult for me now.
Yes, I am aware.
I'm a little
Now
bit.
that you are part of the Defenders of Aldehart, from what I hear.
Yes, I'm a little bit too recognizable now.
Yes, but this actually does work in my favor. You see, there is someone I would like for you to look out for. His name is Ebonheart, a Corvum necromancer. If you ever see him on your journey, be very wary of him. I heard that you might be going to the Avium soon enough, and he has been spotted there.
Have I ever heard of this guy out of character?
Out of character, not that you recall.
Yeah, but it's so look out. All right, and anything
The
else?
reason why I'm telling you all of this is because there is a very high chance that, from what I've been told from my spies, he's been spotted in the Scorched Grove near Ashgrove, right after it was burned down. There's a very high chance he's involved in the catastrophe that's been going on.
So he's an idiot. Good to know.
Perhaps.
I mean, he's got to be an idiot. I can't think of what he hoped to gain by doing something like that.
It's hard to say for sure.
See, I mean, necromancer. Yeah, there are easier way to get a lot out of corpses to raise it. That's what he's after.
Regardless, he's quite the powerful one. So do keep that in mind. In any case, if you do manage to capture him, I will pay you handsomely.
I'll keep that in mind.
Thank you for your time.
Goodbye.
Whether you want to tell this to the others is up to you.
Yeah, I had a little conversation with a contact, the contact of mine. Interesting wrinkle.
Yes.
A necromancer named Ebonheart has been spotted headed towards Avium. He was last seen in the Scorched Grove right after the incident, and it's suspected that he may have been involved.
Okay, is there a bounty on this fellow?
No,
Yes.
there isn't.
Well, not officially.
Yeah, it's not public.
It's a bounty only available to us. That's how I put it.
Rellis begins to ponder a bit, and he says aloud, "Sounds as though there's something suspicious going behind the scenes."
One has, there probably is. I learned a long time ago that asking too many questions is generally a bad idea.
Suddenly a paladin appears.
No, just sitting here being all virtuous and law-abiding.
Casts minor illusion, a small halo appears over his head.
I don't actually know minor illusion, but...
I know, I'm just saying it for the joke.
There's prestidigitation, which I think does the same thing.
I don't
Can I
know
use
that.
control fire to give myself a little halo fire?
Yeah, I don't know that either. My cantrips are Friends, Mage Hand, Ray of Frost, and Shocking Grasp.
Yeah, okay.
All right, but
I cast Bow Flames to make a little halo of fire. It actually looks really demonic.
Henrietta sees them and raises an eye ridge. What are you all up to?
what they are up to, I cannot.
Just doing some evil plot. Evil plots and schemes to secretly overthrow the universe when you aren't looking. You know how it is.
Henrietta rolls her eyes. No,
I mean,
really.
as much as a rooster can.
What?
As much as a chicken can roll their eyes.
You made me envision that. Thank you.
In all seriousness, we were just discussing our next plan of action. We're planning on hitting to the I'm sorry, I can't remember what the name was of it again. The atrium or
The avian.
avium. Okay, I'm sorry, the avium. Relish is the avium, and well, we have discussed that perhaps taking the roads is much safer than cutting through the fields.
The wood.
That's probably a good idea.
Hmm.
We don't want to run into trouble.
Also, Talus has just gotten the most interesting contract from one of his benefactors. It seems as though a necromancer is likely involved with what happened in the Scorched Grove, and, well, it appears there is a secret bounty.
Yeah, and he was seen headed to Avium.
He was a... What did you say he was, a Corvum?
Yeah, he was a Corvum necromancer.
Yes.
Not surprising.
This was
Question to the
weeks ago.
Question to the DM. Do I know any Corvin necromancers?
You do not.
Yeah, okay. I mean, his name was Ebonheart. Did that name mean anything to any of you?
All of you make a intelligence check.
Intelligence?
Or a history check.
I am proficient. Oh, I am not proficient in history. Weird. I'll try it anyway.
Oh, I thought you said
Natural one.
intelligence.
I've never heard of this guy.
Okay, so we're all rolling intelligence. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm kind of like all over the place here on the.
Either-
I'm going to use the first roll for Henrietta and just add 2.
So 16.
Yeah, I can't tell. Don't know if you wanted history or intelligence.
Either works.
Yeah, just technically afterwards.
Yeah. So, Ralis, you're the only one who's ever heard of the Ebonheart family. They're a group of nobles that are very proficient in magic, but you haven't seen them in ages in Elderheart.
Ralis narrows his eyes a bit and he says, Ebonheart, you said?
Yes.
That is very interesting. That's the name of a family of nobles that once lived here in Aldehard. They were known to be very proficient in all sorts of magic, but no one has seen hide nor hair of them in, well, years.
What'd they get kicked out for? I assume they got kicked out.
You don't recall.
I unfortunately cannot recall, Talus. I only know that they just seemingly disappeared. But
Was there anything about them that you know of, other than that they disappeared?
They just worked on all sorts of different magic, and they also, presumably, also became alumni in the Avium. But that's about it.
well, aside from the lot,
About when we're there.
sorry, aside from the lot of them all being alumni from the Avium, I cannot tell you much else.
What about... Did they act strange?
Again,
before they disappeared?
You wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know. As far as to my knowledge, at least to my recollection, I've never had any interactions with any Ebonheart in my lifetime.
Not even rumors?
Nope.
Stories and rumors are all I have to go on, unfortunately. And, well, what I told you is all I know.
Mhm.
That being said, for an entire family to just seemingly disappear like that, it's worrying. And for supposedly one of their members to show up as a necromancer nonetheless, and maybe perhaps responsible or in league with whatever happened. This is very curious indeed.
Well, it's still early morning. You guys should probably be heading out by now.
It would probably be wise.
Yeah, sorry, not Talis. Rallis, oh god. They're pronounced the exact same way I am. Oh goodness, I am so sorry,
yeah, it's
Wed.
gonna get confusing.
I'm so sorry, Wedwood.
I get it.
Anyway, Rallis did it again. Rallis stands up and he says, well, I must go and receive my little item from Susan. I'll meet you all outside of the heart, yes?
I think that's a fair spot to meet. What about the two of you?
Just outside? Well, sure, why not?
Henrietta, you see that he also has a flying snake on his neck, on his shoulders.
You know you have a big flying worm on your shoulder.
And the snake would probably like hiss at her. It's like, no, he's not a worm. What are you talking about?
The snake.
It,
And its
Henrietta
tail is green.
yeah,
Henrietta
he
squints.
found a little new friend to help him commit crimes.
Henrietta squints her eyes and sees that it's a snake. And frowns. Why am I not surprised?
What are you implying?
Anyway.
Well, I'll see you.
I didn't get that. You roboted.
Sorry.
What are you implying?
It's just in character for you. And then Henry goes off and heads outside.
I kind of turned to Talos. I was like, what did you mean by that?
Fuck, I know, and I'm gonna head out too.
As a character, that's a pun.
Yeah. Okay. Because they're both danger noodles.
Yeah.
Well, actually, because it's a D&D character, so.
Yeah, okay. Anyways. Rowlet, you go to the trunk market and meet up with Susan.
Good day, Susan.
Hello, dearie. I've got your potion ready right here. And she hands you the clear red liquid bottle.
Excellent. Thank you.
And she decides to describe it for you. It feels warm in your hands as you're holding it. This is a potion of ashen. It's like fire giant strength, but with 3 names.
Potion of what? Sorry.
Ashen strength. Should be in magic items right now and tools. Let me see. Put that in there. There we go.
All right. Here we go.
Okay.
Yep. When you drink this potion, your strength score changes to 23 for 1 hour. The potion has no effect on you if your strength is equal to or greater than this score. The potion, transparent liquid, has floating in it a sliver of ash snake fang. It has an orange molten glow to it and feels warm to the touch.
Yep.
So you feed that to Henrietta right before a boss battle.
Sure.
I mean, I was gonna
Use it
say,
wisely though.
Talus can also gulp. Sorry, no, Rallis can also gulp it down, but you know, we get more.
Yeah, you have options besides melee. Henrietta doesn't.
Yeah, true. We can make more. You get more use out of it from someone who can actually attack twice in one go.
Sure.
Well, admittedly, she can't do that yet, but yeah.
You get what I mean.
Yeah.
Also has other uses.
Thank you very much, Susan.
Oh, don't mention it. Good luck out there.
And before he leaves, Rallis pulls out another gold and just places it on Henrietta's counter for the good service. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. You didn't have to, but I do appreciate the donation.
Well, money is not something I cherish too particularly much, so if it makes someone's day better, then, well, why not?
Alright.
Again,
Good luck out there.
Thank you very much. You have a good day now.
You're very welcome. Good day.
He waves and just heads off.
Okay. You are now at the base of Elderpart.
I apologize for the wait, everyone.
You now have Potion of Giant Strength. Fire Giant Strength.
Sweet.
Or rather, it's actually Stone Giant Strength, because if I made it Fire Giant Strength, that would be a bit too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It would make more sense.
I was going to say, you're just like, at that point you might as well just hand me a I win button.
Yeah, I wasn't about to do that.
I win the fight. Haha.
But yes, as he meets up with everyone, he shows them all the potion. This is what Susan was able to create for me out of that fang.
You can still see the fang floating in it.
So, what kind of potion is that?
As she has described it to me, one drink of this, and, well, your strength will increase to, well, supernatural levels.
You sure? It kind of looks like a poison to me.
Most potions do.
It's all red and orange.
Well,
And it has a big old fang in the center.
Well, I'm not...
feel better, I didn't make it.
Well, I don't exactly foresee Susan as the sort to, well, have us pay for something that is essentially faulty.
Oh, it worked. Believe me, it worked.
But, as it stands, I will hold on to it for now, but I believe, Henrietta, you might get some good use out of this in the future, should the need ever arise.
Me? What about you?
Well, I am physically strong, but I have a feeling you will get more use out of it than I would. After all, I have my magic to help to assist me. You, unfortunately, well, your magic is limited compared to mine.
Well, I'll store it. Save it for a rainy day.
Very well then.
Alright.
He hands the potion to her.
Right, Henrietta, you now have a Potion of Ashen Strength.
Alright.
I imagine all of you have decided to go rent a wagon.
Yep.
That's the idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
Time to go
So
wag.
it'll probably take you. It would have taken you 3 days to reach the avium on foot by road.
Whatever you're about to do, I can cut that down.
Yeah, you can cut it down to, I think, 2 days rather than 3.
Oh, hold on. Because that, as I still have my robe of useful items, I'm going to put. And did the cart come with the horse?
The cart does not have a horse.
Well, the cart has a horse now.
Okay. You now have a magic horse.
Yeah. It's just a riding horse with saddlebags, and I think we just have it forever.
Okay, you rip off the badge off of the cloak, and a big black horse with a misty mane materializes.
I am not taking care of that.
I'm not sure what magic horses eat. I'll have to look that up.
It's just a regular horse.
Yeah. But its manes are made out of mist, and I imagine its eyes are like glowing a creepy light blue or something.
Yeah, I actually have it here on the pets section of NPCs.
And whenever you stare at it for too long, you feel a slight whispering in the back of your mind.
Nah.
Oh, you were prepared.
Yes, I was prepared.
Did you summon a horse or a thestral?
No, that's a horse.
Thestrals have wings.
That is a really nice horse token, I gotta say.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that,
So, yeah, I'm gonna have to come up with a name for this guy.
Alrighty.
Where is the horse token?
I put it in the pets section of NPCs.
As I was on the map.
yeah, right above Rook's Familiar.
Okay, so it's gonna take you half the time to get there by horse-drawn cart. So, eventually you make it to about here. You notice along the road, you see a couple of other people coming about, going past you, also in cart.
Okay.
They appear to be humble folk.
I would like to put on one of my masks.
You recognize them. They're actually from the Wildwood Brigade.
I would definitely like to put on one of my masks.
Okay.
Let's see, I called it. Where is it?
That goes from I would like to definitely.
Okay.
I would like to have some sort of intrigue. Thank you very much.
Right.
Hey,
yeah.
you got an angle, mate. Sell it. Like.
Okay, where is it?
It looks like they help the out of the way village that was just raided by something.
Okay. I'd like to put on the mask of smiles.
Okay. You kind of just get curious glances off of them as they continue on their way towards Alderheart. They just give you a salute.
They don't know who I am.
Nope. But they recognize a whole bunch of other people. They just give them a salute.
Rallis sort of gives an apprehensive wave to them, and he seems distracted by what he's seeing.
Yeah, there is a bit of smoldering, but there doesn't appear to be any real damage, but it looks to have been looted.
You don't think the bandits struck here before they hit Alderheart, do ya?
This looks
No.
recent.
It's been weeks. They shouldn't be striking anywhere anymore.
This looks very recent. I suppose even with the coalition.
There goes that hope.
I suppose even with the coalition gone, it's no guarantee that people will just give up that way of life.
Well,
Rook, you notice a particular symbol on one of the front doors of the houses. You recognize it immediately, and suddenly you are afraid. Because this belongs to your old captain.
My
Yeah, your old bandit captain from years ago.
It's
My
like,
captain.
yeah. So I kind of look at it as like, well, shit. I'm kind of using the snake to sort of like help scan around the area.
Yeah, this definitely looks like his work. He is a scavenger.
You don't suppose there's any survivors here, do you?
There are survivors, definitely. Most of the people are just really heavily bruised, but otherwise they're fine.
It's almost a,
Henrietta looks to Rallis. You think we could spare some time to help?
They're already being helped by the Wildwood Brigade. They managed to get here on time, just in time.
Yeah, and Rook is kind of like, I think it would be in our best interest to just keep moving.
Do you...
Right.
You are surprisingly nervous, Rook.
No, I'm not nervous. I mean, I'm quite glad to be on this little excursion. Can't you see by the smile on my face?
Insight check.
You are wearing...
Okay,
I
sure.
don't need. Yeah, I don't need to. He's mumbling. That means he's nervous.
Yeah,
Insight
Rallis just kind of stares at Rook for a bit, and he says, "You are wearing a mask. I cannot tell if you're smiling or not."
You can just
You can only assume.
Yeah, you know those three dots you see in sentences?
Yeah, the ellipses.
Yeah. That's going through Henrietta's head right now.
You know what? I'll just roll it for the kicks.
Oh,
not even close.
So close. I almost...
Should have spammed guidance like Bjorn does.
Oh well. It's not something that Rallis really thinks about. I mean, because, like...
Well, that's because he doesn't abuse his power the way she does.
Yeah, he's... quote-unquote, he's more responsible. But yeah, he
you
just...
do get the sense that something is making him a little bit...
Rallis, his eyes narrow a little bit, but he just sighs and he says, "You are correct. We should keep moving."
Yeah, just do me a favor. You don't know.
I don't know you.
Yes, that is correct. Hello, stranger.
I mean,
Okay, as you're
Oh, we're playing that game again.
Yes.
as
you're
a...
moving along the road, I would like to ask everyone to make a perception.
Alright, well, keep in mind that Rallis' passive perception is 14.
And mine is not nearly as high as I'm.
Not nearly as high as
Yeah,
I'm
my
comfortable.
Perception.
Like, I'm used to having really high perception on all my characters, and then I play Talent. Ugh.
I mean,
So, overnight, you do... Well, two of you manage to notice something watching you, but it quit just as quickly as...
we're being watched.
You were silent for some time.
We're being
Yeah,
watched.
you guys are being watched
Yeah.
by something or someone. You're not sure who it was because it was dark. And also foliage. But you now know that you are being watched. Eventually...
Hold on for a minute. Silas... Sorry, no. Rallis casts, this.
Elevated sight. Okay. It's kind of hard to see from all of the friggin' forest and canopies, but as the sun is rising, you do make out a very small figure running away from you. Up ahead. And it's heading up ahead.
Rook.
You don't really notice. You also see at least one more figure head in the middle of the cross. sitting. It's hard to tell from this distance, but exactly.
Alright, well, Rallis, he breaks the spell and he says, "It appears we have company up ahead. Everyone be ready."
Okay. I guess I would like to send my familiar up into the air to kind of give us a better survey.
Okay. The familiar is currently now in the air.
Yes.
Eventually, you make it to the crossroad, where you eventually see the Mawpock sitting in the middle of the road. Let's go right here. It's this really burly looking Mawpock, matted fur, missing in patches. He's sitting there, casually picking his teeth with long pointed dagger.
For a moment, I thought.
Hello.
For a moment.
Who might you be?
For a moment,
What? Roll talking initiative.
Just
his nose.
no, he's picking his teeth.
Picking his nose with a long dagger. Yeah.
No.
That
Maybe the
he is
really
either
dumb one.
he's either incredibly dexterous or incredibly stupid.
I'm trying to give himself a nose piercing.
I mean, hey, when you
He
can't
already
afford
has
it.
a nose piercing.
I mean, hey, when
Okay, so he's done this.
Okay,
hello.
he's wearing studded leather armor and has a rapier at his hip. And
Hello, Scooby.
he is looking maliciously at all of you, especially Rook.
But how does he know what Rook looks like? He's still wearing the mask.
He's still wearing the mask. He can just recognize you by your clothes alone.
Dang.
Should have changed your clothes.
And he gets up, and he's 6 feet tall.
So
Okay, so clearly you intend to take all what we own or some nonsense. I think you should let us pass.
I don't think so.
I don't think you heard me, sir. I think you should let us pass, and I cast suggestion.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh no. Sorry, mate.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Well, I'd have gotten with
Yeah, it's 30 feet. You're gonna have to get closer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
and I think
I'm
you
getting
didn't quite
right
hear
now.
me.
Yeah.
You're the defenders of Eldehart, I presume.
No.
Yes. And yes, we are. And yeah, sure, why not? And you should let us pass. I cast suggestion on him.
Before you do that, you suddenly feel like there's more than just him. You are now surrounded.
Yeah, Rallis immediately draws his warhammer.
Everyone roll for initiative.
I was just about to say I invoked the Amaranth thing to get an idea.
Ooh, nice.
Let's see here.
Wait, you have a
I
dexterity?
suck.
You have a dexterity of 2?
Me?
Yeah.
Here's initiative.
I forgot to click on myself, but 15.12.
Okay. Ian just...
Again, been a while.
Actually, we all seem to have pretty low dex scores, so you know this. I don't feel excluded.
What?
Yeah, well.
I got +2.
We got a rogue, so he's got high dex.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, it's all kind of like on the lower end of stuff. So whatever, it doesn't matter.
Now, everyone has presumably rolled.
Bad guy went before me. That's not what I was hoping for.
So it's 15. Let me change that real quick. Yeah, it's about the same.
Yeah, it is exactly the same.
Okay. So, Rook, You immediately recognize who this guy is. It's Krull the Scavenger King.
Okay, I guess he's my old captain.
He is your old captain. And he is a scary son of a gun.
Okay, depending on who they aim at first, I got things I'm gonna do.
Okay, well, I kind of like clap my hands and kind of like T-pose a little bit. Crawl, it's certainly been a while. I do believe the charade is over. How has it been? As I kind of like step a little bit closer to this one rabbit, or this one
Javine.
Turbine fellow.
Oh, it's been too long, you son of a gun. I'm going to enjoy humiliating you and your pathetic friend.
Oh, that's how it is.
Yes, I think we've come off on the. I think we kind of ended on some bad blood as I take my rapier out and stab the Turbine.
Okay, roll to attack.
Let's see. So I just click on the. Do I get sneak attack?
You do not.
No, you do not.
No.
You get sneak attack if an ally is next to them, or if you have advantage on the roll.
Shit.
Well, you wouldn't have gotten sneak attack anyway here.
Yeah,
Okay, just let me look at your items real quick.
Are you serious?
Yes.
he shoves his rapier into a random bush and loses it in the bush.
Yeah, you lose the bronze ruby ring that you had on you. He stole it from you.
Kill this fucker. At that point, I just pretty much just handed it to him. It's like, here you go.
Yeah, it's gone. It's his now. It was like, this is mine now.
Mine?
It's this Vulcan's turn. And Talus, if you remember the portrait from Wallace's mansion, it's the same person.
Wait, what?
It's the same person from the portrait that you saw all the way back in Wallace's mansion.
Look, it's relative.
Hey, do you know a person named Wallace by any chance?
The Vulcan kind of looks at you, and then she goes rigid. And then she casts a spell.
and me not being a high enough level to have counterspell yet.
Yeah, sorry. She summons a spiritual spear in the air.
Oh, spiritual weapon. How nice.
Yeah, it's a spiritual weapon.
How nice.
Let me just draw a quick here. There we go. That'll be it. And it goes directly towards you, Ella.
Oh, can it not, instead of doing that, can it not do that, please?
It missed.
Oh, thank goodness. Right, okay, that spiritual weapon is going to muddles things a bit, but my plan can still work.
Okay, and she's just gonna move over here.
Right, and then Talus is gonna look at the Mohawk. All right, big guy, if you know who we are, then you know that attacking us is a bad idea.
Doesn't matter.
Have you looked down lately? And I'm gonna cast Phantasmal Force on him, and to make him think that the floor is lava, except for the spot where he's standing.
Okay, so that's an intelligence saving throw.
Yeah.
Okay. He fails.
So yeah, he now thinks that the floor is lava, except
the floor under him is lava.
Yeah, and he doesn't automatically now let me go over the details because this is quite an extensive spell. His mind will rationalize any inconsistencies. So the fact that we're all standing on this lava with no ill effects does not seem to be a problem for him in any way. And also, he gets no automatic saving throws. He can use his action to try and make an investigation check if he has reason to believe that it might be an illusion, which right now he does not.
Like, what the heck is this? This wizard BS. I hate it.
And I know, quite annoying, aren't we? And then I'm not going to risk an opportunity attack and lose concentration, so I'm just going to stay there for now.
Okay, the Gerbine goes next, and he's going to make 2 attacks with his dagger. I guess Rook.
Okay, good.
Son of a bitch.
They both
against,
miss.
But it's against someone who can take it and isn't concentrating on a spell.
They both miss. And he's just gonna try and pull at your hair and try to distract you. He's using the help action.
Okay, one sec. I have a book with help action here.
Alright,
I know it says Malik and not Rallis. I'm sorry.
yeah, we'll have to fix that later on, don't worry. The name change did come, like, you know, way before that happened, so...
Alright.
So, yeah.
Well, if you want to take the guy... You want to take the guy on the north, I'll take... On the left, I'll take the guy on the right.
So, hold on, you're saying, Rallis takes this guy, and you'll take the Jabin next to, Rook? Alright.
Yep.
Very well, then. Rallis just kind of storms up to this guy and just... how tall is this guy right here?
He's the size of a regular Mopok, a raccoon. He's not as big as Crawl.
And not as big as a 5'9" Strig.
Oh no, heavens no.
But yeah, he looks down at him, and Rallis will cast Inflict Wounds at the first level.
Oh boy.
Alright. Pray for my success. Oh, wait, no, not
Okay,
Cure Wounds, it's Inflict Wounds.
Yeah.
Wins.
It's an attack roll. And
Ouch.
that hit.
That definitely hit.
That's a big ouch.
But yeah, basically,
Rallis,
Rallis balls up his fists and just kind of gut punches the guy.
yeah, he goes down instantly.
He shakes his hand and he just looks to everyone else. So, anyone feel like running yet? And that'll be my turn.
Not until I get my ring back.
I mean, I feel like, well, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like the big one is much more scared of you than me than he is of you right now.
Oh, and I built up all this muscle just to make myself look intimidating too.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Rallis. The blood was very impressive.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's Henrietta's turn.
I'm gonna move next to Rook, and I'm gonna use my two-handed pitchfork on
Now,
a Gerbine in the bush.
1 second. I would like to use my help action because I can use it as a bonus.
It's a bonus, not a reaction.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Fine.
Yeah, so you'd have to have
Yeah,
called
you
it on
could-
your turn.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
You ready?
Okay.
Dang
That's a
it.
miss. Yeah, that's a miss.
Nothing
He's
but
leaping
leaves.
out of the way. He already used his reaction though. So. Let's see here. I forgot where to put this thing because I exited out by accident.
Oops.
There it is. It's actually the flying snake's turn.
Okay. Well, the snake is kind of doing his thing. I guess I guess I'm gonna have him wander around.
Yeah, he's flying up in the air. That's all he's doing, I guess.
So,
Yeah.
not a combat familiar then.
No, he's more of like my little spy.
Yeah.
He's kind of like
It's-
surveying the area for like other goons in the bushes.
It's Crawl's turn.
Oh, shit.
He's immediately going to make an investigation check.
Does he have reason to suspect it's an illusion?
Everyone else is standing on the floor. Of course he thinks it's an illusion.
No, but here's the thing. In his mind rationalizes that part away.
So to him it would look like we are also standing on the islands.
Yeah. He doesn't. He doesn't see us standing on the floor. He sees us. He's everyone power to stand on lava.
He goes to climb up a tree.
So he actually moved from his.
Then he has to walk on the lava, and for every square he's on, he takes a d6 of psychic damage.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
To him, it feels like burning.
So, how many squares did he cross?
About. I'm going to say. 10 feet.
He was on this one and this one, yeah. Okay,
yeah,
so
10 feet.
Okay, so he takes 2d6 psychic damage.
Okay, 2d6.
7 psychic damage.
Okay. And he decides to go climb up a tree. He's like, I was not. I hate this. I hate wizards.
Well, and yes, that's what a lot of people have as their last words.
Get them! The Malfuck Bandit immediately goes into Rook and has advantage.
Oh, thank God he's not attacking me.
He attacks with his short sword. And you take 4 full slashing damage.
Hold it.
Oh.
I have... Where is it?
Protection?
Yeah.
So it's just regular. So that misses.
Alright, cool.
It bounces off of Henrietta's shield. No, wait. Actually, you were using your pitchfork two-handed, right? Which means you're not holding the shield.
Can't I use my pitchfork to act like one of those sticks?
It says you must be wielding a shield.
Dang it.
So it does hit.
Yeah,
that does hit.
So yeah, that is something you need to keep in mind for the future. It's because if you're using a two-handed weapon, you need to not have your shield equipped, and it takes an action to put on and take off your shield. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
Okay, you take 4 slashing damage.
Sorry, Rook.
Okay, so
yeah.
On the upside, you now have sneak attack.
That is true.
The other Mawpuck is on the ground, writhing in pain. Rook, it's your turn.
Okay, I would like to take another stab at this goddamn Jareen.
Okay.
But since he's kind of like clinging onto me, and like really, there's no way I could possibly miss.
He's trying to swing his dagger at you. And missing.
I thought you said he was clinging onto me for his help action.
Yeah, he is clinging onto you.
Okay, so there's absolutely no reason for this to miss.
Yeah, that hits. With sneak attack.
Yeah.
So that's a total of 9 damage.
Yes.
You managed to shake him off with your rapier, and he's not looking too good.
Okay, and I would also like to use my my bonus action for help.
To help Henrietta, I guess?
Yeah.
Or to distract one of the enemies here.
Why not both? They're both within 5 feet.
You can only do the one.
Fine, the journey.
Okay. Okay, it's the Vulcan's turn. She sees you just using this spell to... Using your spell to...
None of the no one else even sees what's going on. They just saw the big raccoon guy. I freak out and run into a tree.
Right. Okay. So what she's going to do? She's using her bonus action to swing the spear at you again.
Oh, come on.
Okay, and that's a hit.
Yeah.
You get pierced for 10 force damage.
Ouch.
more than half my health.
Yes, it is.
And I have to make a concentration check.
That's a success.
That was the thing I was more worried about, but I do need healing now.
Oh boy.
Don't worry, I've got your back.
Okay. And what else can she do? She's going to also cast something special.
Seriously, who are you?
She doesn't respond. Within a 15-foot radius around herself, suddenly there are shadow foxes appear around her form. She's casting Spirit Guardians.
Oh. Well, that would be a problem if I intended to get anywhere near her.
Okay.
Would that be a concentration sort of thing?
Spirit Guardians.
It is
Yeah.
the weapon. Spiritual weapon isn't.
Oh wait, Spirit Guardians.
Spiritual Guardians is a concentration spell.
Yeah,
It
but Spirit Guardians is spiritual weapon isn't though, so this thing doesn't go down. Which normally I like, but today it's annoying me.
Okay. So, yeah. And that'll be her turn. Talis, you're up.
All right. Okay, friend, you didn't, and it's clear you didn't, and it's very clear that you didn't like the heat very much. Here, I got something that can help you with that, and I'm gonna fire an ice knife at him.
Okay. He's up in a tree, so the Vulpin is out of range.
What? I mean, I'm pretty sure her ice knife still goes that far. 1 moment.
It's 5 feet. He's currently up about 15 feet.
Oh, but it won't. But it won't hit her. Okay, yeah, like that's not a problem. I mainly just want to hit him.
Okay.
I want her alive. Ah, damn it.
That's a miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Seriously, I'm trying to do bodily harm to you here. Could you please stop? Stop struggling. And I'm also gonna back 30 feet away from the spiritual weapon because I know that thing can only move 20 feet.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't think it takes opportunity attacks, but
Yeah. No. You can only do that. You can only do that with melee weapon attacks unless you have Warcaster.
Right, okay. So, that'll be your turn?
That will be my turn.
Okay. The thief is next. What it's going to do is it's still going after Rook. It has more daggers. What was your AC again?
14.
It was 14. Okay, so that's... Only one of them hit. You take 3 piercing damage.
Ouch.
And it's also still clinging to you and being a general nuisance. It's Rallis' turn.
Well, not my familiar?
Your familiar goes after Henrietta.
Oh, okay.
Alright, well, I'm marching myself over here, and I will be casting Cure Wounds on Talis.
Thank you very much.
Cure Wounds, first level. Alright, you get 7. How's
Not
that?
much, but it works.
Actually, for his health pool, like, does that top you off?
No, you took
no,
10 damage.
No, but it brings me pretty close.
Alright, it brings you pretty close. So, Rallis,
Below my max now.
Alright, so you're good. You're good. Rallis comes.
I'm good for the moment.
Rallis comes up to you and places a hand on you, and most of your serious wounds start healing and closing. He says, "Pick yourself back up, Talis. Keep going."
seriously, woman whose picture is in Uncle Alice's hall, please stop doing that. That really hurt.
Alright, and that'll be my turn.
Yeah, the Vulcan woman is just glaring at you.
I do believe it was a negative relationship.
Very negative. Henrietta, it's your turn.
I still have my paperwork in my hand, so I'm gonna poke the Gerbeing again.
Poke the German.
With advantage.
Yeah, because Rook is helping.
Yay!
Basically,
Oh, and ever since Henrietta took the oath, all her final moves are non-lethal.
Okay. Yeah, it's a hit. The Gerbean is now down on the ground.
Yeah, just
He managed to just
I
fling
poked
it
him.
off of Rook with your pitchfork, like a bale of hay.
Yeah, and I toss it away.
You toss it away. It's just the Mopok left, as well as their leader and co-leader.
I am going to move here, and that'll be my turn.
Okay. It's the familiar's turn.
Okay. It is going to fly around kind of casually and fly right over top of the one.
Okay. It's going to have to.
It's flying above the Guardians.
It's flying above the radius. Okay. It can't really do anything other than that.
And to break your concentration, it's just gonna straight up drop on our shoulders.
It's still going to need it to roll, though.
What?
It's still going to take damage.
Okay, I mean, it's on her shoulders now. So if those Guardians go after it, it's going after her.
They do have fine enough control to differentiate friend from foe.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Say wisdom save.
I mean, I doubt your familiar has enough hit points to survive this, even if passive.
Yeah, because Spiritual Guardian's like a 4th level spell, right?
3rd level.
Third level.
I know,
Third
but
level spell.
it is concentration, though, isn't it?
It is concentration, but
Spirit Guardians is, yes.
So it's a matter of breaking the concentration.
Alright, well, let's see what happens.
yeah. Failed save, the creature takes 38 necrotic damage. On success, the creature takes half as much. So your snake poofs out of existence right before she lands on her.
Damn it.
It's gone. I'm sorry.
Well, that was an attempt.
Yeah, a shadow fox just jumps overhead of her, just jumps right over her head, snatches the snake, and in its jaws just poofs it out of existence. It's Crawl's turn. He realizes people are walking over the lava. And it's a wisdom save or an intelligence save?
It's an intelligence check.
It's intelligence check. Okay.
Intelligence investigation, to be precise.
Yeah, and if he and it takes up his action. So
He still doesn't get it.
yeah.
He's like, why is this happening?
You know, Rook,
What
I
are
have
you
to say,
fools doing? Get rid of them! Yeah, I'm getting out of here. You know what? This isn't worth it. I'll come back for you. I will have my revenge. And he flees over the trees.
Through the trees?
Yeah.
And that's as far as he can get, right?
He was about here, and he can just dash over the trees.
Oh, damn it. Wait, no,
Yeah.
he can't. You see, it took his action. It took his action, remember?
Yeah, okay, so only 30 feet. So he's currently running away.
He's still within range.
Okay. Anyways. The Modpack Bandit, seeing all this, is just... I'm just gonna... You know what? This is for the master. I'm just gonna try and get rid of you here. And he's going to use a short sword against Rook. That is a miss. Is like that. Wait for me, boss! He's going to try and run away. You have opportunity attacks.
Nope. So wait, he has I have opportunity?
You and Henrietta have opportunity to hit him.
With sneak attack?
Yes.
Alright.
Yeah, you both gang up on him, and he's just... You trip him up, and he's already on the ground.
How do you like that rocky road?
That is a terrible... That is a terrible...
For years.
Okay. It is Rook's turn.
Okay.
Back to the top of the order.
So I guess I can't break that one, psychic spear thing.
No, it's...
That
you
stays.
need to spell magic to get rid of it, but...
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna try to go. I'm just gonna try to pick up the Jervine by the collar and try to get my ring back.
Okay. You do get your ring back.
Okay. So bronze ruby ring.
You wanna throw it over here?
Throw what
What
over
the heck are you talking about?
The Jerbean.
Okay. Yeah, let's throw the Jervine with the pile.
Okay. You now have a pile of Hubblefolk.
That are barely alive.
Yeah, they're barely alive.
Don't forget to add this guy when you got a moment.
Okay, and I would like to use my action, my other action, to put away my rapier and take out my longbow.
Okay.
Alright, that's your free action.
Yep.
I guess that'll be your turn.
Yep, I guess so.
The Vulpin woman is seeing her master escape. She's going to do one last thing. She's going to send her spiritual weapon over here to try and attack Rook.
Oh shit! Oh, sorry.
Language.
That's fine.
Sorry, I thought it was me.
This is a Christian D&D game.
My gosh, I keep missing all the time.
Yeah,
It's a miss.
don't worry, mistakes happen. I'm still making mistakes now.
And let's see here. Yeah, I can reach you just fine. She's going to cast a guiding bolt at Talus.
Seriously, what gives?
That
He's
family
not
relation.
answering. That's a hit.
I doubt I'm still conscious.
That you take 12 radiant damage.
Holy crap! I actually tanked that.
You're barely standing, though.
I have 3 hit points left.
Just
Okay.
on shaky knees.
She's going to try and follow after her leader.
No. He's not going anywhere after. And okay, he's within range. I'm going to drop the Phantasmal Force and cast Hold Person on him.
Okay. I suppose...
Talus, I know I really shouldn't be and be keeping this guy here, but Talus is pissed now.
Wisdom save. What's your DC?
14.
I'm sorry, he succeeds.
Damn it!
He kind of feels a bit of a tingle, but he's still running.
Yeah. And
But
also,
no.
he now notices that the floor isn't anymore.
Yeah, the floor is no longer lava. He's still running across the trees, though. He's in his element.
Yeah, and like I'm still like glowing right now.
Yeah, you're glowing. You're literally glowing. Alice, it's your turn.
Yeah, I'm just like seriously. Seriously, woman, that hurt, and I'm yelling at her.
Yeah, Rallis is just kind of chase up after Talus, and he just kind of holds out his hand again and casts Cure Wounds. This time at the 2nd level.
Thank you.
And
14.
yeah.
I am being yo-yoed around by all the feelings.
But yeah, as he's doing this, he just kind of looks to you and he says, "Is this going to be what our relationship is, Talus?"
Well, I don't know. I mean, preferably my battles don't see me get hit this much.
Alright, and that's my turn. Henrietta, you're up.
Okay, I am going to cast Cure Wounds on Rook at 1st level, because that's my only spell slot. And can I use my bonus action to switch to my crossbow?
I think that's an action.
It takes a
Dang it.
It takes a free action to switch weapons.
Free action, but you can't really fire it.
Yeah, I won't be able to fire it, but nice to have it just in case.
Yeah.
So I switched from pitchfork to crossbow.
Alright. Well, Crawl has escaped. The Malkirk bandits are unconscious. Rook, it's your turn.
Okay, and I was gonna kind of yell at her. It's like, you owe me.
You cut out.
I'm trying to yell at her, saying, "You owe me for the familiar." As I aim my longbow at her leg.
Okay.
Yeah, she hasn't taken a single hit this entire time.
Yeah, it's a hit.
On her leg?
I would say you'd have to get a nat 20 to actually aim for the leg.
Damn it. Oh,
yeah.
Well, no, basically how it works is with called shots, you make the shot with advantage.
Well, you still managed to hit her for 8 piercing damage. She kind of tumbles a bit. And I'm going to have her roll concentration. Yeah, her guardian spirits are still up.
Okay, and I would like to disengage outside of the spear.
You don't have to. It doesn't take opportunity attack.
Yeah, the spear doesn't have reactions, so you can entirely use that as that cunning action as a dash if you wanted.
6.
Escaped. Sorry. Alright, and that's gonna be the end of initiative. End of the wrath. Out of the battle.
I'm supposed to be an enchantment wizard. I have yet to successfully cast an enchantment spell this entire campaign.
Oh.
I was gonna go over to the I should have been an illusionist, because my illusion spells have all gone really well.
You should have. But you went with enchantment instead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go through the pile and just start picking up for the gold pieces so I get my money back. Yeah, I mean, out of character. Okay, out of character. Was he? Did he seem to be much more? Did he seem to be significantly more?
Is the stream okay?
It just came back. Apparently, it died for a moment.
Okay, so from each of the bandits that you managed to loot, the Mohawk bandits have 35 gold pieces each in their pockets.
Taking his back compensation.
And is worth 200 gold pieces.
The what?
An opal.
Opal. Okay, so again, 35 and an opal worth 200. Add that to the treasure document.
You would have gotten more, but they escaped.
Okay, edit.
But they vowed for revenge. They're going to kill you next time.
How much did we get?
We got about 70 gold pieces and an opal worth 200.
I'm just okay, I'm taking my 35 gold pieces and kind of like throwing the opal in with the pile. That's way too much to cleverly take away.
Yeah, with combat all done, Rallis is going around and he's just kind of casting Spare the Dying on the ones that, nearly died.
Yeah, they're a little bit hard of breathing. This one especially, since you put it in the gut with his wings. But he's gonna be fine now.
That's good.
Henrietta's gonna check on Talus and Rook and see if she needs to cast Cure Wounds on them.
Hey, hold on, guys. I'm gonna drop out for a minute, then come back in.
Yeah. To make me feel like 29 out of 29? Sure.
Might as well.
Alright, as you're healing him, you notice more figures coming up the road. It's the perch guard.
You're late.
And it's like, whoa, what happened here?
We got ambushed by bandits.
Bandits?
Yeah,
But we drove them off.
Detain everyone but their leaders. They killed my pet.
That is unfortunate.
I demand recompense.
Well, as recompense, we'll happily take these other unconscious bandits to the Alderheart jail.
Yes, make them suffer.
Yeah, so if they're not on wanted posters, perhaps they should be. It's and I describe both the Mohawk and the Vulcan to them.
We would definitely recognize one of them, the Mohawk. He's known as Crawl the Scavenger King. He has a huge bounty on his head.
Oh. Almost had him.
Henrietta points.
Got free, and then he decided to run away.
He usually does that. Most of his attacks are just making people unconscious and looting whatever they had.
Okay.
Hands both the Gerbine and the Mohawk over to the guards by her end before pointing to the one by Rallis. Take special care of that one. He got the wind knocked out of him pretty hard.
Alright. Thank you kindly.
Rallis does actually seem a little proud of himself, and he smiles. Apologies, I guess I don't know my own strength.
Well, in any case, if you do see Kroll again, it might be wise to we'll inform Benna of this. He used to be close friends with her when they were still in the Coalition.
We will. Thank you for your help.
Alright. Until then, citizens. And they leave. They go back to Alderheart.
Well, that was fun.
Yes.
It would have been much
Liz, you
worse
go, I
if
got
you didn't
stabbed.
cast Phantasmal Force.
By someone who is possibly a relative of mine.
Is your family that hostile towards each other?
I'm Not really. All I know is that her picture was up in my as in my uncle's house.
Well,
Otherwise, I have no idea who she is.
so either
Maybe.
either a relative or an individual he still cares for.
You may have to talk to Wallace about that later.
Yes.
Too bad you don't know sending.
Well, it's not as if I met.
I'm just not powerful enough to cast it yet.
Well, in my case, it's not as if I met the man myself. I could not help you.
Again, I do know sending. I'm just not powerful enough to cast it yet.
Yeah, but I mean, well, who would you prefer to cast sending? You know.
Indeed.
Okay. So, after another half a day of travel, you eventually make it to your destination.
Yep, and no questions asked about my relationship with the scavenger gate. Okay.
I mean, it's pretty obvious what your relationship was. You used to work for him, and then you left.
Yes.
Yay.
Let's leave it at that.
As you approach,
Ex-boyfriend or something, because I really don't want to deal with that headache right now.
No, nothing like that.
okay, as you approach, you see the structure from the road. It's quite large. It's you see 4 gigantic circular stone platforms float aside several towers and spires in the air above you. I'm wondering if I'm reading this right. Yeah, it should be like this. It's a giant stone tree.
So, sort of like a concrete version of Alderheart.
Yeah, it's a petrified tree.
Oh, petrified tree.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
Tell
see.
me, friend, is this not the coolest thing you've ever seen?
Yeah. It's a leafless, branchless tree trunk made of solid stone. The trunk towers hundreds of feet high, and the orbiting structures appear to connect to stone bridges that jut out of the trunk near its upper levels. You see 2 perch guards in crenulated watch posts above the entryway to this petrified trunk. They salute to you, and moments later, a robed, bespectacled raptor glides down to land at your feet. He says, welcome, we've been expecting you. My name is Professor Reese Birchwalker. I'm an associate professor here at the Avium. Pleasure to meet all of you.
Been a while?
Well, it certainly has been a while, Talus, one of our alumni. How have you been?
Getting by.
Okay. It should be showing up here for whatever reason.
I don't care, dude. This image looks so sci-fi.
It does look a little bit science fiction-y.
This is magic for you.
But it's good to see you all have arrived. You are the defenders of Alderheart, I assume.
Brooke is still wearing the mask.
Anyways, the dean's been expecting you at the, he's in his office at the moment. I can let you in. And she goes up to the gate, and she holds up an amulet, which has it looks like a claw, a talon grasping at a flame, emblazoned on the token, and that same emblem appears on the door in glowing orange letters, and the doors begin to slowly open. She turns back at you and says, "Follow me, please."
So, you studied here once, Talus?
And yes.
We'll say yes.
You all enter the grand lobby of the Avium. There's a whole bunch of people here. As the main desk sits at the far wall, behind which a scribe is busy with tottering piles of paper. There are several chairs and couches situated around circular tables throughout the room, which is lit comfortably by floating braziers containing magical flames. There are portraits of wizened birdfolk hanging from the walls, each one wearing robes similar to those of your attendants. And behind the spiral staircase, behind the desk, you notice a spiral staircase leading downward into the basement. And it's flanked by two large birdfolk statues.
Wow.
Okay, she eventually leads you. Professor Birchwalker leads you up to the circular platform and is like, right over here.
My, this is certainly a very astounding-looking academy.
Yes, it's one of the best academies that we have here in the region. With all the different schools of magic, as well as some unearthed arcana types of magic and several towers around here.
The stairs are as much of a pain as they look. Trust me.
Which is why we have this. She claps her hand, and the circular platform begins to glow and rise off of the ground.
Oh, they always have the cool stuff after I leave.
Okay, you go up the magic elevator. A few windows occasionally zip by on the way up, showing glimpses of the wood and just how high your party is traveling. It eventually stops halfway up the structure, and you find yourselves in an area next to a busy atrium. You eventually reach the office, the doors to the main office. And she allows you all to enter the dean's office. Inside is a round stone office. It's surrounded on all sides by windows. You see several spires and large circular terrariums slowly floating by outside. There are many tables inside the office. It's filled with disorganized piles of books. And the desk is in a similar state of disorder. You see a sable Luma peek up from over the books and is like, "Oh, please, excuse me. Reviewing a few hundred theses for my students. Excellent work. But one does tend to lose track of time. I'm terribly sorry." He comes over the tables to shake your hand. I am the dean of the Avium. My name is Gabe Winsworth. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Terribly sorry for the mess.
It's no trouble, sir.
Yes, he goes over to shake everyone's hands. Well, it's good to see you again, Talus.
See? And you finally got that promotion. Great.
He just shakes everyone's hand, including the one who happens to be wearing a mask.
Yes.
He's been on about that mask all day. We're not sure why he's wearing it.
Well,
why I'm wearing it is not important, as I kind of give like a Jedi mind trick gesture.
Regardless, I'll cut straight to the chase then. You've, I imagine, come here to learn about the aspect of fire that's been going on in the Scorched Grove. The council told me all about it.
Is that what it is called? An aspect of fire?
That's what we've all been calling it. And we're happy to help you in whatever way we can to stop it. Won't find information on something that old and powerful in just any library. Thankfully, the Avium is built upon the greatest store of knowledge in all of Humblewood. Literally. Beneath the main building.
I assume the way to kill it involves dropping a lake or something on it.
I'm sure it's something a bit more abstract than that. Beneath the main building is the oldest structure here, a library with a collection of tomes, folios, and manuscripts gathered from all over Everden. With any luck, that's where you'll find what you're looking for. Now, a disclaimer, some of the tomes in these are a little, deadly. But worry not, our librarians are expert. They'll help point you in the right direction while steering you clear of the more advanced materials, he says, with a finger gesture in quotations.
75% survival rate.
Rallis just like slowly looks over towards Talus worryingly.
He hands each of you a similar amulet to the one that Reese Birchwalker had. Let me just bring that up real quick. In Worn... Was it Worn Magic Items, or was it Handouts? Yeah, it was Handouts. Here we go. It's the Avium Amulet.
Okay.
And it's now in Notes for Players in the Handout section.
Ah, here we go.
Okay.
Ooh, that looks really nice.
Okay. These amulets were made especially for guest researchers. With these, you'll be able to freely roam the grounds of the college.
Oh, well, thank you very kindly.
Alright, well, with that out of the way, I'm sure you've all had quite a long journey getting here. We apologize for that. You have access to the dormitory chambers that have been specifically prepared for all of you. Should be the right amount of bunk beds for each of you. Don't worry about the food either. The amulets will also grant you free meals in the campus dining hall.
Sweet.
Very well.
You're also free to sit in on any lectures if you wish to attend around the camp, as well as peruse more conventional libraries housed in the orderly structure.
That I'm up on. What time? Yeah, what time of day is it?
It's about midday. Or it's getting late into the evening.
Oh. Okay, yeah, midday and late into the evening are not the same thing.
Okay, late into the evening then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, midday is the opposite of late into the evening.
Sorry about that. So feel free to explore campus, or take a rest in the dormitories, or study in the lower library. I hope you'll find what you're looking for.
Oh.
I raise a hand. Is there any students learning how to find familiars? I would, get back the one I lost.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the most common spells that we own.
If you could do it before, just do it again. I think you can do it again at any point.
I know. I just need the facilities.
Oh.
Okay, we do have several classrooms where we have all the materials and components that you'll need to cast a spell.
Thank you.
Oh, excuse me, sir. Before we head off, may I ask something of you, if it isn't too much trouble?
Oh, not at all.
I apologize for being rude. My name is Rallis Greenborough. It is a pleasure to meet you, and...
It is a pleasure to meet you as well, Mr. Rallis.
And, well, a certain issue has come up for us lately, and I wanted to query you about it.
Oh?
Now...
And what would that be?
Now, I was just recently reminded of an old noble family that used to be in Alderheart, and I begun to become a little, perhaps against my better knowledge, a little curious about their family history.
It's the Ebon.
The Ebon.
I understand they still have connections there, more or less.
Oh, the Ebonheart. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. The last Ebonheart that used to be an alumni here was named Oswald Ebonheart.
What did Oswald what did Oswald specialize in?
His name is Oddwald with a D, not an S.
Oddwald. I'm sorry, I thought I heard Oswald.
He
Wait.
wasn't,
It's close,
wasn't there.
but not quite.
But yes, what did
He
what
used
did
to specialize in all sorts of different spells, but he mostly studied in theoretical necromancy.
I see. Well,
We haven't seen him ever since he graduated, which was about several years ago. Haven't seen him since.
All right, then the family names kind of come up lately in certain circles.
Yes,
Okay,
I apologize for the trouble. I just got curious.
alright. Henrietta, Talus, and Rook, I would like for you to make a quick intelligence check.
Okay.
Sure. I hate it when it does that.
I smart.
Okay,
And I'm
Moment.
dumb.
I didn't see Talus's intelligence
Yeah, that's because
check.
I haven't rolled yet. My character sheet got all weird, so I had to reopen it.
Okay.
I'm preoccupied, I guess. I have not been rolling well today.
Okay.
You're
Rook-
busy you're busy looking at all the new stuff that's been added since you last were here.
Rook, you remember this name, Oddwald. It's the one that Riffin the Ash Knight referred to a long time ago
Okay.
as Riffin's old friend.
Mm. All right. I'm just. Would my intelligence score, tell me the significance of?
No, you just remember it.
Okay. I make really no mention of it.
Alright then.
Sorry.
I apologize for taking up your time, Principal. I do appreciate it,
It's
regardless.
no worries at all. We're all really happy to help in any way we can to help save the wood.
Very well then. I suppose we'll be off then.
Alright. Good luck. Alright, so now you have free reign to explore the avium. There are a number of things that you can do. You can talk to NPCs, you can start learning different spells if you're a wizard. You can brew potions
That
if you
is what's
want.
on my mind, as a matter of fact.
Okay. It'll cost you a day in order to learn a spell. And it can be any spell that you could potentially use. And and it costs. It costs the amount of money you would pay to write it all down in enchanted ink and paper.
Yeah, like an entire day for spell like that. Okay, I'll go for that. But first, I'm gonna see if I can find any old spell books, so I can find. Like, honestly, I was just gonna look through the library for spell books, see if there's anything new.
Okay. You can go to the lower library, I guess.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm gonna do.
Alright. What's everyone else doing? You guys can go to lectures, you can brew some potions.
You said it's the evening, right?
It's the evening. You can go rest in dormitories, grab dinner, go to the dormitories.
Yeah, Henrietta's just gonna get dinner and go to bed.
Okay.
Yeah, Talus was just was just gonna take a quick look to see if there was any. If like the lower libraries were promising at all for that, and then dinner and go to bed.
All right, you head towards the lower libraries here. You are immediately flanked by the two statues who come to life and block your path.
I show him the identification thing.
You show them the amulet. They look at it, and then they go back to their original position. You are now free to enter the library.
Same artificial sticks up your asses as always.
You are now in the lower library. Let's see.
None of us aren't there.
Look for. And just take a quick look for any that may contain spells that I don't already know.
You don't go talking to this guy? Okay.
I mean, I didn't even notice he was there at
Yeah.
first.
Okay. You go down a long winding staircase and emerge in a room filled with rows upon rows of large stone shelves, each containing several hundred books.
Okay, do I remember where the used spellbook section is?
Yeah, there is a magic section in here.
I mean, I would hope so. It's a wizard school.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
There is a magic section in here. To find what you're looking for, it's going to take you a really long time because there are a ton of books in here.
Well, I mean, I'm not looking for. I mean, I'm not looking for anything specific. Just some old spellbook that I can copy spells from.
We are not quite overtime yet. There are magical braziers illuminating the area, but the light strains to reach every nook between the large bookshelves. It's pretty dimly lit in here.
Well, it's a good thing I have dark vision.
You have dark vision, so it's fine. Eventually, as you're just browsing across the shelves, you eventually come across a swift strig sitting and reading behind a desk at the center of the room.
Do I recognize this man?
You do not.
Then I pay him. Her?
Him.
Yes.
Then
But he is
mind.
look and eyes you curiously. You're part of the Defenders of Alderhot, I presume?
Everyone recognizes my face now. I just can't get away from it. Yes, be me.
Very well. I was informed by the Dean that you'd be coming down here to look for whatever you need to find. My name is Mordain Swiftgale. I am the librarian down here.
Good to meet you.
Yes, of course. You as well.
So tell me, are there any old spell books down here?
Old spell book. Should be down in this section.
I will go to the section.
Right. And he goes back to reading.
Yeah, basically, I could learn any old spell, but I'd much rather get something random, like what spells I actually want I already have planned out.
Something random.
Throw some spells at me and see what comes up.
There is a ton of different spells in here. If I recall correctly, you did look up use detect magic on that one ash snake vein and came up with a hint of conjuration magic in there, so maybe that might be a good place to start.
Perhaps. I mean, Talus knows that, if anyone is actually behind all this, probably a conjurer of some kind.
No. Well, something to keep in mind as you're exploring the magic section of the library. There's a ton of magic in here.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I know where the old spellbooks are, I guess I'd just take one at random and see what's in it.
Yeah, sure, you do.
Yeah.
It's going to take you a couple days to actually browse through everything, though.
Well, yeah, that... well, that's why I'm getting started now.
I know, this is basically the research section of the campaign. I'm sorry.
You know what, Rallis, I didn't say what Rallis was doing, but considering the evening he decides to come down here as well, the whole situation's still kind of weighing on his mind a little bit, so he figures he'll get right to it as well.
You also see Mordain Swiftgale sitting by his desk reading a book.
Oh, goodness, sorry. Gave me a bit of a startle there.
Sorry. Oh, pardon me. You must be another one of the Defenders of Eldhart, I presume?
Well, I do not really deserve such a prestigious title, because, well, I unfortunately did not know any of them before I arrived.
Right.
I only know...
Well, in any case.
But
I'm the librarian here. I've received word directly from the Dean. If you need any assistance looking for something, you can call me.
That would be much appreciated, sir. Thank you very much.
Of course. And he goes back to reading.
And he goes looking around to find Talus, and probably after a bit of searching, he sees him. Ah, there you are.
Yeah, you see him picking up a couple of spell scrolls from the enchantment section, I presume.
I mean, I think I already know most of the enchantment spells, so mostly I'm just gonna take something at random. I'm not really paying too much attention, really.
Okay, what level spell are you looking for?
I mean, first or second, mostly.
First or second, okay. What kind of spells do you also know? Let me check.
I know a lot of first and second level spells for my level, actually.
Yes, you do. You do find in... let me see here. You do find a locate object spell.
Rallis, you already know this one, yes?
He looks it over and he starts to try and recall the information.
He does.
Yeah. He starts recalling. And says, "Yes, I believe I do. Yes."
Yeah. Okay, so new parameter, something that my fellow that Henrietta and Rallis can't.
Okay.
It's gonna take a bit.
That's gonna take a little bit.
But yeah, while you're doing that,
while you're working on that, we can go to Henrietta or Rook.
Okay, what are Henrietta and Rook doing?
Okay. Rook is going to go back up to the Dean's office.
Okay. That's gonna be difficult to do because the only way to go up there is through elevator.
Okay.
And Henrietta's in bed.
Okay.
Yeah, currently,
I would like to have a little private conversation with the Dean.
He's still having a private conversation with the Dean. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, while Talus is doing that thing, Rala starts looking through the books himself, and he says, Talus, may I get your professional opinion on something?
That's the first time anyone's ever called me professional, is it?
Well, you are more of an expert in the mystical arts than I am, so, well, expert is relative to my own experience.
Indeed. Now, what was it?
That aspect of fire, they call it. You suspect it's some form of magic?
I think, I look around to make sure that no one's watching or listening. If someone is... The more I hear about all this, the less... the less I think that this Ebonheart actually was responsible for it. So, and for something like this, you need an experienced conjurer, sir.
Yes, well, I don't know much of necromancy myself. A creature such as that does not seem as though it would be born out of such a school of magic.
Yeah, no, you'd have to yank something like that out of was already dead, and they just brought it back to life. No, that's not how elementals work.
Okay, as you are looking through it,
Visibly struggling to remember his conjuration. Like that was always one of his weakest subjects here.
speaking of conjuration, you do find a spell called Unseen Servant.
Oh. Okay. I'm going to head to a table somewhere and spend 50 gold in the next 2 hours copying that.
Okay.
Yeah, conversation over.
Yeah, conversation over.
It's like, ooh, this is important.
Okay,
Okay.
what's
So
Rook doing with the team?
Okay, so he mentioned a friend, Oddwald, was it?
Yeah, Oddwald.
it was unseen servant, yes?
Unseen Servant.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was that or I had a brain fart on whether it was that or tiny servant.
Okay.
Anyways,
I would like to, talk to the dean, still wearing my mask, just kind of being a pretentious asshole. I would like to. It's like you mentioned this Oddwald fellow. Can you tell me a little bit more about this one?
He was very studious, Oddwald. As far as I recall.
As far as you recall, do you know if he had any business in Ashborough once upon a time?
I'm afraid I don't really know the outside lives of my students and alumni.
Well, how about the inside lives? Did you know what he particularly excelled in? Could you, maybe look up some of his grades for us?
He was well, he had masterful grades in most of the magic schools, but he especially excelled in theoretical necromancy.
Theoretical necromancy.
Yes, you see, practical necromancy is banned in this school, though we do have an exception with the servitor skeletons around campus.
Skeletons.
Yes. The skeletons were originally the bodies of staff that have decided to donate themselves.
Okay, so something...
Again, it's a really controversial thing.
It would certainly seem like such a thing. Do you have any sort of records on any of his theses or any other projects?
I'm afraid I don't. He took most of them away.
Oh, you're saying he cleansed out some of the records of something else.
Can't quite say for sure. I apologize if this isn't of any help.
Do you know any reason why he took such an interest in theoretical necromancy?
Can't quite say for sure, but you may want to speak with the necromancy professor, Glinda Nightseed. You may know more about this than I do.
Glinda Nightseed. Okay, well, I will definitely go speak to, I guess, his professor about such a thing.
Of course, he knows more about theoretical necromancy than I do.
Yes, because, I won't really bore you with the details, but his name has come up before.
Probably one of his friends, I imagine. As I recall, he wanted to be an adventurer.
Yes, it was certainly probably one of his friends. Anyways, I'll go speak with this Glinda. I guess tomorrow. It's certainly quite late.
Yes, it is quite late. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Alright, well, thank you very much for your help.
No bother at all. Good night.
Good night.
Alright.
And I bugger off.
Okay. So, now, nighttime. I suppose all of you decide to make it to the dormitories.
Yeah.
And as night falls, you also hear a rainstorm from outside.
I would like to make one more stop before I actually go to bed.
Okay.
Yeah, I need my familiar back.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, when I get into my dormitory, I ritual cast Tiny Servant and have my new Tiny Servant put away all my luggage.
I mean, unseen servant.
Yeah, Unseen Servant.
Yeah, you
Tiny
cast in.
servant.
Chinese
Yeah,
servant.
like they're like like I can't learn Tiny Servant yet because that's a 3rd level spell.
Yeah, it's
Wait, what?
unseen servant. So
Wait, so Tiny Servant is a real spell?
yeah, it is a real spell. It's a
Oh my god.
I believe a Xanathar's Guide spell.
My mind just keeps getting the two mixed up tonight for some reason.
Yeah, the unseen servant is, as you say, it is. It's an invisible servant.
Yeah. And yeah, so he's basically going to be doing all my housekeeping for the rest forever now.
Okay. So yeah, you have an invisible butler.
Yeah.
Ralis
Good, and I guess Rook spends the rest of the night getting his familiar back.
Yep.
Ralis,
There you go.
Ralis comes into the dorms and he sizes, he, lays down his weapons and takes off his armor and everything. An entire half day of searching and I still feel no closer.
It's a big library.
Very big library.
So, the problem is, though, I can't help but feel like such a creature, if there is knowledge here somewhere, would probably be where no one is supposed to be allowed. I don't know why, it's just this sensation I have.
Well, there are there are some questions that if you want to go after that, you can. And there are questions that I think can still be answered in the lower libraries.
True. No need to jump straight into the deep end.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the assistance today, Talus.
No problem.
And after Ralis takes off his armor, he goes to rest.
Alright. And I guess once Rook has his familiar back, you all go to bed.
Yep, tired.
You all take a long rest. It is storming outside at the moment.
Perfect. Best weather.
Yeah, you all go to sleep, and it's the next morning. You feel well rested.
I guess I will go directly to the necromancy professor's office.
Okay, let me get that out real quick.
Yeah.
I'll be going for breakfast.
I'm gonna grab breakfast and bring it into the library.
Boo! Sacrilege.
This is a
Okay.
college library. They don't care if you bring in food.
The one I went to would.
Well,
Yeah.
then you went to a really high college.
Yeah, it was a really strict college.
Yeah, I've only personally ever gone to a public college myself, so it's a good one, but it's not like fancy, that sort of thing.
Okay, while everyone else is having breakfast.
Come on. Yeah, like, come on, it's a college library. They don't care. They probably got a coffee shop in there.
Probably.
Rook decides to go visit the classroom dubbed the Class of Theoretical Knowledge. Theoretical Necromancy.
Alright. Wherever my character is. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's all the way down there.
Yeah,
Let me
just
see
kind of like
if...
knock and enter, just kind of unceremoniously.
Inside, you see a white ptarmigan, a gallus, sitting at writing some papers, and she sees you walking in and is like, oh, hello there.
Yeah,
Wasn't expecting someone to come in this early.
I'm still wearing my mask. It's like... So I'm gonna step forward. It's like, well, hello, you must be Glinda Nightseed?
Yes, I am Professor Nightseed. It's a pleasure to meet you. You must be one of the defenders of Elderheart, I presume.
Dang, there's absolutely no purpose for this disguise.
Everyone knows you're wearing a mask.
I'm gonna have to switch up this mask.
because the dean told everyone you'd be wearing a mask.
Dang. Anyways. Well, anyways, hiding identity.
She's actually... Her classroom is in one of the outer spires, so you actually had to wait a bit in order to get into her classroom.
Yes. Well, anyways.
You had to wait for it to float by, because you're not a bird folk and you can't fly or glide or any of that.
Yeah, I'm such a pain to get here.
I know, it's a pain.
Anyways, I would like to discuss a matter of a former student of yours.
Oh, former student, and what would he be?
As a certain, I guess, bird folk by the name of Oddwald?
Oh, you mean Oddwald Ebenhart? I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Ebenhart? Ah. Anyways, I would just kind of like to learn a little bit more about this prestigious student of yours that seemed to excel in pretty much everything, in particular necromancy.
Theoretical necromancy.
Yes, that's theoretical necromancy. Would you happen to remember any of his particular assignments or projects that he accomplished and handed in for you?
Oh, well, for classes here, we only really give out essays and reanimating skeletons that have been donated to us.
Do you remember anything in his writing that stood out to you?
Something that stood out.
Something
he always had a fear of failure. That's one thing I remember.
A fear of failure.
Every time he would always come in with always perfect marks, but whenever he had a lower grade, he used to panic.
So he was something of, as you would say, a keener.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah. Do you know if he had any sort of business, perhaps in Ashborough?
As far as I remember, he was to meet one of his new friends over there. That was a while ago, several months, I think.
Yes, around the same time Ashborough burned. Yes.
That is rather concerning.
Yes, where there was also a lot of death and a lot of corpses.
Right. Hopefully most of them came out all right.
The corpses?
The people.
I would hope so.
Wow, Rook laying it on real thick.
I have no idea where this is going.
I know, I realize that necromancy is a bit of a gray area when it comes to magic.
Yeah, I do believe he's, I guess, also come up recently in, I guess he's a person of interest now?
He is he? Well,
yes.
We haven't exactly seen him around here in quite some time.
In the last several months. Was there anything sort of leading up to his, recent disappearance that, might suggest something?
Not that I recall, I'm afraid.
Okay. Is there any sort of places he frequented here in the college?
He always had an interest of going into the lower libraries, but students aren't exactly allowed down there anymore. Only alumni and professors and guests are allowed.
Alright, why did he frequent those lower libraries? I mean, if he was not really supposed to be down there.
Well, I mean, he was already alumni when he decided to go down into the lower libraries a while ago, before he left.
Okay. Any particular section that you would gladly lead me to, or point me to?
Afraid I don't usually frequent the lower libraries myself.
Okay, is there a different person that would tell me?
librarian, Mordain Swiftgale. He might know a few things. Though, he hasn't been feeling himself lately.
You don't
Neither
say.
why. He's been rather reclusive as of late, even more so than usual.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. I won't bother you anymore.
No, it was no trouble at all. I hope you find what you're looking for.
All right. Well, thank you
Because
again.
they're meeting you,
Call me Core.
Mr. Core.
Yes.
Well, have a good morning. My classes are about to start pretty soon.
All right, I'll let you prepare. Farewell. As I just kind of walk out the door.
Good day.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, back here at the end.
Well, as it happens, Talus is in the lower library at this time, doing basically the same thing he did yesterday. Like, he's gonna grab another new scroll from the magic section, and while he's at it, he's gonna have his new unseen servant get and gather together some tomes on elementals and what summoning them involves.
Okay. So,
Yeah. Like, just to see, like, basically he's trying to confirm whether this sort of thing might be able to happen by act, and how powerful you need to be to summon something like that.
so you're looking up elemental creatures, is what you're looking up.
Well, my unseen servant is gathering together materials on that. Right now, I'm looking for. I'm trying to see if there are any more interesting spell scrolls.
As for
Some of these spell scrolls are
Same
Let me
parameters as yesterday.
Okay. Let me look that up again.
Okay. And I guess after a brief stop by the cafeteria to grab something to eat, Rook kind of steps down into the lower library.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rallis kind of does.
You see floating books all over the place, being carried by some invisible force.
I try and
Yeah,
swat them away from me and try to knock him. Knocking him to the ground. It's like.
The books tumble onto the floor, making a large clatter. It echoes all the way throughout the library.
And then like a million voices. Then a million voices seem to just come out of the walls and say, "Shh."
Yep.
Yeah.
Rallis kind of does the same. Rallis kind of does the same. He he does his morning stretches, the prayers for his spells, and gets a small bite to eat. And then after he puts on his equipment and everything, he comes down here and helps with the research again. Just after Rook shows up, and he says, "Oh, Rook, you're down here as well?"
Yes. Have you seen Talus?
I believe I saw. Well, I was down here with him the other day. He was over in the far corner, looking at I believe it was Conjuration, was it?
You also see these books starting to being picked up by some invisible force off the ground.
Yeah. But like basically, there's this big stack of books just floating towards where same place you remember.
I imagine Talus must have figured out a new spell or some such. Only explanation for that.
All right. Well, I just need him to cast one.
And that is.
Well, you'll see.
Very
Just just don't mind us. Okay, and I guess I'm going to follow the floating pile of books.
Okay. You eventually find Talus.
Okay. Like, hey, Talus.
Talus is like a sort of browsing through the row of spell scrolls with one hand and holding a copy in the other.
Hey, Talus. Can I borrow you for a second?
Sure.
Okay. It's like, have you seen the librarian at all? Have you?
He's right over there, and I just point at him.
Okay, come
Yeah,
with me.
he's still sitting at his desk, reading a book.
I don't know him, so
Okay, I'm gonna ask you to cast a spell, and I need you to not ask questions.
I'm very good at not asking questions. Let's see where you're going with this.
Okay. It's like I'm gonna walk over. It's like I'm gonna walk over to this librarian, and with Rallis, and I've already forgotten this guy's name.
Mordain Swiftgale, the librarian.
I'm gonna kind of tap on his shoulder. It's like, hey, are you Morgaine Swiftgale?
He kind of jumps a little bit, and you touch him, and he's like, yes, I am. There's
Okay, I'm
something
gonna turn
you
to
need.
Rallis. Okay, I'm gonna turn to Talos and say, cast suggestion.
Okay, that's how it works.
Okay.
Don't ask questions.
Okay, this is weird, but okay. Like, what exactly am I supposed to suggest him for do? Suggest what exactly?
Answer my questions.
Yes, could you please answer his questions? I'm not sure why he wants me to cast this on you, but I don't question it at this point.
It's a intelligence check?
It's a wisdom save,
Wisdom save.
which if he's a wizard, he's probably at least reasonably good at.
He should be proficient in it if he's a wizard.
He doesn't seem to respond.
Damn it.
Okay.
He just kind of tilts his head at you curiously.
Anyways, I
He's
heard
like,
you.
Okay.
Now,
Anyways,
I'm just gonna go back to what he was doing.
Okay, well that didn't work out so well. Anyways, I heard you may have had some interaction with a certain Oddwald Ebenhard.
He kind of shudders a little bit, going silent.
I'm gonna wrap my hand around his shoulder.
He's very
Kind of like
uncomfortable.
little buddy with him. He's like, well, I do believe that you may have had a couple interactions with him. I would like you to tell me a little bit about them, as my familiar is kind of like coiling out of my sleeve.
I can't say I've ever met him, to be honest.
Oh, really? The dean told us that you may have had some relationship with him. Maybe you,
It may have been an old librarian before me.
I'm pretty sure the dean mentioned you by name.
I'm sure he said some librarian. I'm afraid I can't recall who you're talking about.
That's it. Let me say that name again. Oddwald Ebenhard. I mean, you seem to stutter a little bit. As my familiar, the snake is kind of like going over, like wrapping over his other shoulder.
Okay.
Sir, Rallis picks up. Sir, please just take a deep breath.
And answer my questions.
Rook, he looks down to you and he actually puts a finger in front of his mouth, just basically telling you to be quiet.
I'm sorry, but
I apologize for the forwardness of my companion, and I understand that this is perhaps uncomfortable for you. But you see, may I be honest with you?
Yes?
Oddwald's name has come up lately, and it is it is concerning, but myself personally, it is out of concern for his well-being that I ask about him. As, well, the stories I've been hearing, the stories I've been told, it seems difficult to believe some theory that has been sprung up in my mind because of relation, it seems, to him.
He's a necromancer at large.
I see.
Now look, again, I understand if you don't want to answer. I entirely understand. But
You don't need to have to.
Rook, perhaps you should go and help Talos with his research.
Oh no, this is my investigation now.
At least allow me to finish first.
Fine. Say your piece.
But I feel as though this is just a sensation I have, an ill omen on the wind. But I feel as though perhaps he may be in danger. That perhaps he's in over his head. I can't be for sure of this, but if you have any information on him, if you can help us in any way, it would be most appreciated.
He kind of goes quiet for a moment before saying, I have not seen him in quite some time, I'm afraid.
I thought as much. I'm sorry for pestering you, sir. I truly am.
You should probably continue your research elsewhere.
Well, unfortunately, considering what's at stake, I believe I'll have to continue here with Talus's help. Again, and Rallis does actually seem genuinely hurt. He says, I am truly sorry. I feel as though I had brought up some unpleasant memories, so I hope you can forgive me.
Don't worry about it.
Rook's kind of rolling his eyes.
And Rallis just goes and helps the Talus with his research by looking through conjuration and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, while that's going on, have I found any new scrolls?
You do find a spell called Crown of Magic.
Ooh, yeah, like, wasn't on my list, but it is a fun one. So, I'll copy that one down. I'll copy that one down later. Right now, I've got actual research to do.
Okay, meanwhile, Mordain Swifttail would like to leave.
Meanwhile, I'm still kind of holding on to him. It's like, now, anyways, about this Oddwald fellow.
I'm afraid I can't help you with that. Please excuse me.
No, maybe you can't help me with him, but maybe you can, point me in the right direction, or rather, lead me in the right direction of one of his little study spots here in the Deep Library.
Hard for me to remember.
Oh, well, you got all the time. Let's have a little walk.
Okay, he just kind of leads you around in a circle.
Okay.
Around the library, just randomly pointing at certain spots where he used to study from when Oddwald was an alumni.
Okay. Was any? I'm gonna ask him. Is there any spot in particular that he was very fond of?
No, there wasn't.
Do you know some of the books that he tried checking out?
Mostly theoretical necromancy.
Necromancy. Can you point me to that, or can you lead me to that section?
He points over to a particular section around the corner.
Okay. I guess we're both gonna go over there.
I'd rather stay. I need to go back to work.
Okay, I'm just gonna
He
kind of...
really doesn't like you.
Well, this kind of led to a dead end. I guess I'm gonna kind of scrounge around the necromancy section. Kind of look for books out of place.
He points to necromancy as well as the geography section.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna go over to geography. Because that's kind of different than what Oddwald was learning.
Okay, so Gallus and Talus, you're looking through the elemental creatures section, I imagine.
Yes.
Monsterology section.
Yeah, like, basically, okay, there's a couple things I want answered that like I feel like should at least help narrow it down whether Ebonheart is behind this. Okay, number one, and do elementals die in the conventional sense?
As you are looking through everything, you do find a particular passage called Elder Elemental. Let me bring that up for you real quick. It's brand new. It's in Elder. It's in the into the library for notes for players here. I just put that up real quick.
Right.
However, it seems much of this page in this book is torn out.
Oh, that's great. That's just great.
Yeah, like Relis actually checks where the page was. Does it look like it was actually torn out, or did it fall out?
It looks like it was ripped out.
What's the title of the book?
It's specifically called Elder Elemental.
Okay, so I'm gonna go find the librarian. Excuse me, do you have another copy of Elder Elementals? This one seems to have been damaged.
What happened? Oh, whoever hooligan managed to do this is... Well, this is an offense to the library. I should report this to the dean immediately.
Yes, but it's also important to our research. Do you have another copy?
I'm afraid this is the only copy we have. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's annoying. Alright, well, okay, well, you better go report that then.
Yes, of course, right away. And he leaves the library.
Okay, so, and now, but, okay, so, alright, this supports my, so, one is definitely behind this then. This is like a move right out of some mystery novel, but anyway, so back to my original question, can elementals die in the conventional sense?
In the conventional sense? Make an intelligence check. Or an
Arcana. Okay. I have been rolling poorly all night, but I am good at this.
You remember that they can be conjured into existence with conjuration spells, but aside from that, you're not quite sure if any of them are really immortal.
Yeah, but like I'm wondering, like, okay, like, because if they can, then that would because if they can't die, I'm thinking if they can't die, then they can't be brought back by necromancy, and that would seem to let Ebonheart off the hook. Because, like, right?
I mean, normal elementals are just poofed out of existence and back into the elemental chaos, but...
Yeah, then... okay, well, I mean, it's looking more and more like Ebonheart isn't behind all this, although I suppose he might not be working alone.
Well,
so whoever's doing this, some kind.
Alice, as you're also looking through the elemental creatures as well, you do find another passage and more ripped page.
Hang on now. What's this? Rallis looks over it.
Okay, elemental creatures.
And notes for the player: elemental creatures, and he reads it out as he's standing next to Talus. Elemental creatures composed of fire that also possess earth elemental traits tend to be incredibly strong and durable, and do not appear to retain their vulnerability to cold-type magics. However, cold-type magic should theoretically be able to
The rest of the book is torn out.
He lightly bangs his
The
hand
rest of the page in this book is just...
Yeah, he lightly bangs his head again.
Okay, now
No, he lightly bangs his hand against the book. This one's torn too.
oh, that's looks like well, looks like whoever was behind all this did come here.
So, this aspect of fire, it seems as though considering this little tidbit, it must be also a mixture of earth elemental and fire elemental. That is not a good sign.
Okay.
And...
Go back to the spell. Talus is going to do. Okay, Talus is. You know what? Talus is going to resort to one of his old tricks for cramming to try and figure this out. When he was, yeah, going to look through. He's going to go back to the shelf with all the spell scrolls on it. Look through some of the more high-end stuff. He's looking for a scroll of legend lore.
Scroll of legend lore.
It is a spell available to wizards, I think.
Let me see if I can find it. Meanwhile, Rook, as you're exploring the history or the geography section of the library.
It is a 5th level divination spell.
You don't find any real high-end spell scrolls in this library. But if you're looking for something concerning divination, you can always ask one of the professors.
I think I'm going to do that.
You've already spent a good chunk of time in this library.
Well, then I will do that tomorrow.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Rook, as you're exploring the geography section of the library, you do come across a book titled The Scorched Grove.
Okay, I'm just gonna kind of pluck that one from the bookshelf.
Okay. The book is intact, so you can read it.
Okay, so like no pages have been like torn from it.
Nope.
Okay. I'm just gonna kind of like give like a quick little browse through it.
Okay, this is one paragraph in the book that you seem to find most interest in.
Okay, so from the above evidence, one can conclude that the Scorched Grove displays properties which suggest extreme conjuring, perhaps even the calling of a major elemental force. Whether this was conjured from a nearby plane or farther one remains uncertain, but the readiness with which the elemental magics have taken root suggests a source in close proximity to our world. Okay, I'm going to take a note. I'm going to take note of the page number and just kind of like walk over to Talus and Ralas and just kind of add it to their collection.
Yeah, you're when you walk on by, you notice that Ralas is putting a book on the table where the librarian used to sit, and he's writing a note on it.
Okay, I am going to commit book blasphemy and dog-ear the page and just kind of like put it right in front of Dallas.
You monster.
While this is going on, Talus is going to is going to look for anything else on fire and elemental to see if that information has been tampered with too.
He leaves the torn book at the table, so the librarian sees it. He doesn't want to bother him any more than he has.
And also, Henrietta decides to join the party. Come down into the library.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's being funky with me again.
Well, Ralas appears over the corner and he says, Henrietta, we're over in this section here.
What are you looking for? What are y'all looking for?
We're looking
information.
We're looking into conjuration and the like specifically. Talus believes that
Very
this is
pertinent information ripped out.
Yes, we found two two very interesting passages. One on elder elementals and one on elemental creatures. They both seem very
Well,
prudent.
if I may interject, there is one section of the library that you haven't checked yet. It's the history section.
Henrietta, you'd better check that one. And like, Talus is still like looking through anything he can find on fire elemental to see if all that information's been tampered with. Also,
You check.
Where is the history section?
It's around.
Oh goodness, I'm sorry. I didn't ask the librarian. I'm going to go and find. While you're looking for the histories, I'll go and find Rook. He's still got to be around here somewhere. And Rollis goes looking for him.
Okay. Henrietta, as you are continuing to look through the history section, you do find a book detailing the Great Calamity.
I pick it up and I take a look.
It's another book that appears to have torn out piece of a page.
Either this place has termites or someone has been poking around.
Be available in the into the library section for notes for players and handouts.
Here it is, Great Calamity. You want me to read this out for you, Dream?
I got it up.
Nah, no worries.
Regardless of the origin of the calamity, whether or not the rumors of an elder elemental being hold any truth to them, a magical event of incredible significance is almost certain to have taken place. The calling of such elemental energies, whether through evocation or conjuration, would require a mage of unparalleled skill or an entity of unfathomable power. Details on this book,
particularly of an eyewitness account, appear to be torn out. So yeah, there's that.
Getting into some stuff now.
Oh boy. And Talus, as you're looking for more, I guess, really bad off books, you do find one really, really old, really burnt book. It's really badly damaged, but as if it were saved from a fire. But there's this small magical field preventing it from further disintegration. Really old and just barely legible. Appears to be an old storybook. You should see it into the library.
Here it is. T bore us. You got this one, Wedward, or do you want me to do it?
After its defeats, the aspect of ice lost a single shard. The Borealis was sealed away. A dance of fire and ice maintains the wood's balance. If the fire wanes, it must wane slowly. Only then will its energies have time to ebb away. Huh.
Yeah, it's really old. The rest of the book is just burnt and completely illegible. But it looks like you may have found a clue on how to get rid of your vector fire problem.
Yeah, Rollis is still looking for Rook.
Meanwhile, like, okay. So the Borealis. So gonna need to go see the divination teacher about that, definitely.
Okay. So, anyways,
and then conjure it, and then find the summoning teacher and ask him what the hell and about elemental and about
I
help.
mean, Professor Reese Birchwalker. She's actually the associate professor for conjuration.
Yeah, and
Right.
Oh yeah, and Talos would actually know that since he's, he graduated from here.
He's an alumni.
Yeah, but okay, enough about that. Okay, so now I'm going to start looking around for any mentions of the Borealis.
The what?
The Borealis mentioned in this passage.
The Borealis. It seems to be the only book mentioning it, and it kind of, and your search takes you a little bit deeper into the library.
Yeah, so. Right.
It's starting to get late.
Right now, Talos is just thinking this entire time. Are we gonna have to let loose some giant ice monster in order to stop this? Because that's honestly where my head is. Because out of character, that is honestly where my head is going.
How insane is it that the first thing Rook suggests is also the answer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knew?
Yeah, you also spot one of the servitor skeletons just trying to put onto the shelf that have dropped to the floor. Just mindlessly minding its own business.
Yeah, Talos vaguely waves to it.
It does not respond. It just continues to work.
Now, out of character, I'm a little on edge because this looks a lot like a combat map to me.
Just wait.
Well,
you should probably come back to this another time though, because we're getting pretty close to time.
Yeah, we're
indeed.
Yeah, it's past 12.
Time, yeah. Alright, and Dream also has to go.
Yeah, sorry guys.
No worries, we're at time.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Alright, that'll be it for today. Hope everybody had a great time. We'll see you next week when we start wrapping things up.
You mean next year?
Next year, yes, because New Year's. Alright, goodbye.
Hope you all have a happy New Year. See you
Happy
later.
New Year.
Bye.
Happy Hanukkah.